Okay, so what I've got here is I've got a problem with my wrist. Okay, we've got this. I can bend that. Okay, great. And then I can take this wrist, and the wrist will bend in these different directions. Okay, that's looking not too bad without hardly doing any weighting. That's working. But then when I want to twist my wrist, I end up with this problem. And if I weight this area here to work with it, it's going to give me more issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a little expression on this joint here, the ulna. And I've noticed that there's a, I could put a separate controller in here as well, but then that gets kind of confusing. I'd rather just have this controller work the wrist and twist it. Okay. So one little trick I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this joint. I'm going to hold down Shift. I'm going to select that joint. I'm going to press P. That means that now this joint and the wrist joint are siblings. Okay. Whoop. Okay. So I can move that without moving all the rest of this stuff. Okay. So we got the ulna doing that. It's also, my move tool is lined up to the world. So I'm going to go to the scale tool, which is lined up with rotation typically, or the object. We'll see it's pointing straight down at this, and that means that this one's probably lined up with this joint here too. This one might be a little bit on the funky side. Probably won't notice much though. Okay. I'm not going to go and get really super picky about it, but I'm going to make it so that when this wrist rotates, okay, so when I rotate this on, in this case here, it's x-axis, so rotate x, let's just go to edit expressions. Rotate X, I'm just going to copy that. Okay, I'm just copying that piece of information right there. Just because if I can avoid typing, I typically do. And then I'm going to go to Ulna, and I'm going to go to Rotate X. Okay, take this, and I do this weird little trick where you middle click drag, and you can pull down the word from up here, so you don't have to retype it. And type in equals, Control V, paste that in. So whatever the wrist rotation is, this is going to be exactly the same. I'm going to hit create. Let's create an expression. I got a little purple node up here. Now when I grab this and I rotate it, you're going to see that the ulna rotates. It looks a little funky because it's rotating exactly the same, right? We'd like it to actually rotate half of what this joint is rotating. So here I'm going to rotate it something like, let's say 60. How about 90? Okay, like we could do a little bit of weighting to achieve this, but we'll still have to do some weighting. But let's just take a look at what happens when I go over here to rotate X. I just had to highlight the word there, rotate X, and the rest of the expression showed up. And so ulna joint rotate X equals wrist joint rotate X. And then let's do a multiply. Okay, so a little star, so when you hold down Shift 8, you get that. And then if I type in 0.5, multiply by 0.5, and I hit edit, now it doesn't rotate quite as much. So now when I do this, and I go in here and I do this, I get a softer rotation. I could even knock that down a little bit more if I wanted to, or I could adjust the weighting here. Maybe a little bit of both. I could bring it down. Anyway, that's done. Okay, because also too, if I take a look at this, there's almost 80, right? So when I click on this, we've got almost 40. There we have it. And this is a really short video, so let's keep doing the fingers and stuff. I might make a separate controller for the hand, but I'm going to use this one here just because it'll speed things up. I'm going to do all the Citroen keys for the fingers. So let's go and take this controller. We've got thumb. Oh, did I already do this stuff on here? I did. I already did all the fingers. Okay, I don't have to do that. That's done. And anything else on this video? Yeah, pause. Okay, so I had forgotten that I already did the fingers on the previous video because I took a bit of a hiatus on this. So this is the video. I'll stop.